Right before you spray that patch of weeds in your backyard, you might want to hear this. That plant you're about to kill? Your great-grandmother probably ate it for breakfast. Welcome to another episode of Garden Crumbs. We're diving into 10 plants that most Americans consider invasive nuisances, but that humans have actually been eating for centuries, sometimes millennia. These aren't exotic survival foods you need a wilderness guide to identify. They're probably growing within 50 feet of where you're sitting right now. And before you dismiss this as some trendy foraging fad, understand this. Many of these plants are more nutritious than what you're buying at the grocery store. Let's get into it. Number 1. Purslane, Portulaca oleracea. This thick-stemmed succulent sprawls across garden beds like it owns the place, and most people rip it out without hesitation. Meanwhile, researchers have discovered it contains a higher omega-3 content than any other leafy vegetable they've tested. Let that sink in for a moment. The plant you're throwing in the trash contains the same fatty acids people pay $30 a bottle for at the supplement store. Purslane has reddish, almost rubbery stems and paddle-shaped leaves that feel oddly juicy when you touch them. It hugs the ground in a spreading mat, thriving in the hottest, driest parts of summer when your lettuce has already bolted. Ancient Egyptians cultivated it. Greeks and Romans ate it regularly. Mahatma Gandhi listed it among his favorite foods. In Mexican cuisine, it's called verdolagas, and shows up in everything from tacos to salsa verde. The flavor is mild, slightly lemony, with a satisfying crunch that holds up well in salads. Beyond the omega-3s, it delivers 7 times more beta-carotene than carrots, and 6 times more vitamin E than spinach. It stores water in its tissues like a desert plant, which is why it thrives when everything around it is dying of heat stress. If you've got purslane, you've got free superfood. Number 2. Chickweed, Stellaria media. This delicate plant starts growing in late winter, sometimes pushing through while there's still frost on the ground. For people living before grocery stores, that timing was everything. Chickweed forms soft, low mats of tender stems covered in tiny oval leaves. Look closely, and you'll spot a single line of fine white hairs running along one side of the stem, switching sides at each leaf junction. That's your positive ID. The flowers are small and white, each petal so deeply split it looks like the plant has 10 petals instead of 5. Birds absolutely love this plant. Chickens will destroy a patch of it in minutes if given the chance, which is exactly how it got its name. European settlers intentionally brought chickweed to North America as a winter vegetable. It grows when almost nothing else will, providing fresh greens from late fall through early spring. The taste is mild and pleasant, somewhere between spinach and romaine, with 0 bitterness. You can eat it raw in salads, toss it into smoothies, or wilt it quickly in a pan. It's loaded with vitamin C, calcium, magnesium, and iron, arriving exactly when fresh produce is hardest to come by. Herbalists have used chickweed poultices for skin inflammation for centuries, a practice modern research has validated thanks to the plant's anti-inflammatory compounds. Here's the kicker. One chickweed plant produces around 800 seeds, and those seeds can remain viable in your soil for up to a decade. Once it's in your garden, it's there permanently, returning every late winter like clockwork. Number 3. Wood sorrel, Oxalis species. Most people see the clover-like leaves and keep walking. Then, someone hands them a leaf to taste, and their face changes immediately. It tastes like lemon. Genuinely, unmistakably like lemon. Wood sorrel grows low in shaded areas and garden edges, with small heart-shaped leaflets grouped in threes. At night, the leaves fold gently along their center crease, a protective behavior botanists call nyctinasty. The flowers are tiny, usually yellow, and the seed pods have a fun trick. They explode when touched, flinging seeds several feet away. Some historians believe wood sorrel was the actual plant St. Patrick used in Ireland to explain the Trinity, long before the modern shamrock became the symbol. Native American groups chewed the leaves during long journeys as a thirst quencher. 16th century English herbalists wrote about it as a cooling ingredient for hot summer days. The bright, citrusy flavor comes from oxalic acid, the same compound found in spinach and rhubarb, perfectly safe in normal eating quantities. And that flavor is genuinely useful in the kitchen. High-end restaurants pay foragers to bring in wood sorrel. It shows up as a garnish on expensive tasting menus. Meanwhile, it's probably growing for free in the shaded corner of your yard that you've given up on. Number 4. Lamb's Quarters, Chenopodium album. This upright plant with pale green leaves and a silvery, powdery coating looks like the definition of a boring weed. It's actually one of the most important food plants in pre-agricultural North America. Native tribes across the continent cultivated lamb's quarters deliberately. Seeds found in the stomach of a preserved body from a Danish bog burial, dated to around 300 BC, prove people were eating this over 2,000 years ago. Indigenous groups across the Great Plains and Southwest harvested both the leaves and the seeds. The seeds were dried and ground into flour for cakes and porridge. Here's something that will reframe this plant. Lamb's quarters and quinoa are in the same family. Those tiny dark seeds it drops in late summer can be cooked exactly like quinoa. The leaves contain more protein per serving than spinach, plus significant amounts of calcium, iron, and vitamins A and C. The flavor is mild and earthy, closer to Swiss chard than anything sharp. Cook it exactly like spinach. It wilts the same way and tastes better than most people expect. And here's the detail that should make you pay attention. Lamb's quarters grows most aggressively in disturbed soil, the exact kind that surrounds raised garden beds. If you're growing vegetables, lamb's quarters is almost certainly already colonizing the edges of your beds. You're planting spinach in one spot, buying seeds, and preparing soil, while lamb's quarters is doing the same thing 3 feet away for free. Number 5. Dandelion, Taraxacum officinale. You spend money every spring trying to eliminate this plant. 400 years ago, people spent money specifically to grow it. European settlers intentionally brought dandelions to North America in the 1600s as a food and medicinal crop. They carried it across an ocean on purpose. A plant that millions of Americans now drown in chemicals every April was once carefully transported across the Atlantic as a valuable resource. A single handful of young dandelion greens contains more beta-carotene than a carrot, and several times your daily requirement of vitamin K. Every single part is edible. The young leaves in early spring before they turn bitter. The flowers, which can be battered and fried or fermented into wine. The thick taproot, which can be roasted and ground into a caffeine-free coffee substitute that health food stores sell for $12 a bag. Here's what makes it remarkable. Spinach needs prepared soil, consistent watering, and replanting every season. Dandelions need absolutely nothing. They break through compacted dirt, survive hard frosts, produce from April through October, and return every year from taproots that extend 18 inches deep. You literally cannot kill them without chemicals, which is exactly the point. Number 6. Broadleaf plantain, Plantago major. You've stepped on this plant 1,000 times without realizing it was edible. Native American tribes called it white man's footprint because it appeared everywhere European colonists traveled. Broadleaf plantain forms a low rosette of tough, oval leaves with prominent parallel veins running from stem to tip. It thrives in the worst soil imaginable: compacted dirt, cracked pavement, worn-down trails, places where deliberately planted crops would die immediately. A tall, slender seed spike rises from the center, producing seeds that hitchhike on shoes and animal fur to the next patch of disturbed ground. This plant is engineered for the habitat humans create. It followed European settlers across North America so reliably that its arrival became a marker of colonization. In traditional European herbal medicine, crushed plantain leaves were pressed against wounds, insect stings, and rashes for centuries. A fresh leaf, chewed and applied to a bee sting, remains one of the fastest field remedies you can find on a summer hike. Modern research supports the folklore. The plant contains compounds called aucubin and allantoin, both documented for anti-inflammatory and wound-healing properties. Young leaves are edible raw or cooked, with a mild, slightly earthy flavor, best before the plant toughens in summer heat. The seeds are related to psyllium, the same fiber ingredient sold in digestive supplements at pharmacies. You've probably bought a version of this plant without realizing it was growing in your driveway for free. Number 7. Red and white clover, Trifolium pratans, and Trifolium repens. You mow this into oblivion every week. Farmers used to plant it intentionally to restore exhausted farmland. Clover blankets lawns and meadows in dense, low carpets. Red clover produces upright pink-purple flower heads about the size of a golf ball. White clover stays lower, with round, pale blooms that attract bees on warm days. Both are nitrogen-fixing legumes. Their roots host bacteria that pull nitrogen directly from the air and deposit it into the soil. Before synthetic fertilizers existed, farmers planted clover specifically to rebuild fields after heavy crop rotations. It was a valuable agricultural tool. Then chemical nitrogen made it unnecessary, and we reclassified clover as something to kill. The flowers are sweet and mildly nutty, excellent raw in salads or dried for tea. Red clover is particularly rich in isoflavone compounds that researchers have studied for potential health benefits, including support for menopausal symptoms, bone density, and cardiovascular health. Dried red clover blossoms sell for $8 to $15 an ounce at herbal shops. They're blooming in your yard right now for free. The leaves are edible too, mildly grassy and best in small amounts, either raw or blanched briefly. The seeds can be sprouted indoors in winter for fresh greens when nothing else is available, ready in just 4 days. And the entire time, the root system is quietly enriching the soil beneath it, season after season, without any effort from you. You didn't have a weed problem. You had a nitrogen-fixing cover crop. Number 8. Stinging nettle, Urtica dioica. Touch it, and it burns. Cook it, and it tastes like the best spinach you've ever eaten. Stinging nettle grows in dense patches that can reach 4 to 6 feet tall by midsummer. The leaves are oval and deeply serrated, covered in fine hairs that look almost soft. Those hairs are hollow needles that inject histamine and formic acid on contact. Brush against a fresh patch with bare skin and you'll feel it for hours. Most people give it wide clearance and move on. That reaction has kept people away from one of the most nutrient-dense plants in the Northern Hemisphere. During World War I, Germany faced a cotton shortage after Britain's naval blockade cut supply routes. Nettle fiber was used to manufacture military uniforms. The plant was already so integrated into European life that it was the obvious substitute. In medieval Europe, nettle was eaten every spring as a health tonic after months of preserved food. Bronze Age fabric woven from nettle fiber has been discovered at archaeological sites in Denmark. The sting disappears completely with heat or drying. Blanch it for 60 seconds and it becomes safe, tender, and deeply flavorful, earthy and mineral-rich in a way spinach never quite achieves. Nettles are packed with iron, calcium, magnesium, and vitamins A and C, plus more protein than most leafy greens. Young spring shoots, harvested with gloves before the plant flowers, are the best for eating. Number 9. Garlic mustard, Aliaria petiolata. Forest managers spend millions trying to eradicate it. Conservationists are now asking people to eat it instead. Garlic mustard grows to 3 or 4 feet in its second year, with triangular toothed leaves and clusters of small white flowers at the top of each stem. In its first year, it's a low rosette, easy to overlook. Crush any part of the plant and the smell hits immediately. Raw garlic, green and sharp, completely unmistakable. It spreads aggressively through forest understories, shading out native wildflowers with an efficiency that's landed it on invasive species lists across the eastern United States. Here's what most people don't know. This plant has been food in Europe for at least 6,000 years. Archaeological evidence from ancient pottery in Denmark and Germany confirms it was used as a seasoning as far back as 4,100 BC, long before most cultivated herbs were common. European settlers brought it to North America in the 1860s as a cooking herb. The first confirmed U.S. sighting dates to 1868 on Long Island. Without the insects and diseases that controlled it in Europe, it spread rapidly across the continent. The flavor is exactly what the name promises: garlic crossed with mild mustard greens. Young spring leaves are the most tender and best for raw eating. As the season progresses, the flavor intensifies and develops a pleasant bitterness. Blend it into pesto, toss it in salads, cook it as a pot herb, or use the seeds as a mustard-like spice. Conservation groups in the Great Lakes and Northeast now organize community harvesting events. asking people to forage it from parks specifically to reduce its spread. This is one of the only plants where eating it is an act of ecological conservation. Number 10. Watercress, Nasturtium officinale. The CDC ranked this number 1 in nutrient density among all the fruits and vegetables they studied. Watercress forms dense floating mats of dark green leaves along the edges of cold, clean streams and spring-fed creeks. The small, rounded leaflets trail in the current, anchoring lightly to gravel or mud. Crush a leaf and the scent arrives immediately. Sharp, fresh, unmistakably peppery. People have eaten this plant since ancient times. Romans fed it to soldiers on long campaigns. In 1800s England, street vendors bundled wild watercress and sold it as breakfast food for working families who couldn't afford much else. It was one of the first commercially cultivated salad crops in the United States. It never stopped being food. We just stopped noticing it. The science validates the history. In a CDC study ranking 47 fruits and vegetables by nutrient density across 17 key vitamins and minerals, watercress scored a perfect 100, placing it ahead of spinach, kale, and every other green on the list. It's loaded with vitamins K, C, and A, and contains compounds called isothiocyanates that researchers have studied for their potential to disrupt cancer cell growth. For thousands of years, people didn't need foraging guides or YouTube videos. They just looked down. The purslane, the chickweed, the dandelion, they weren't survival hacks or trendy superfoods. They were groceries. At some point, we built an entire agricultural system around replacing them with crops that need more water, more fertilizer, more pest control, and more money. Then we built another industry to kill the originals when they kept coming back. They always come back. Which of these are growing in your yard right now? Have you ever actually tasted one? Drop your answer in the comments below. This is Garden Crumbs, signing off.